Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Hurricane of Football YouTube channel. It's been a while since we've done a video like this, a podcast like this. It's been a while since you've seen some of our faces. You might have heard some of our voices. We've been uploading a couple of videos for our loyal fans who have been keeping up with the channel. You've seen that we've been uploading a different type of video. Go back. Our last video we uploaded was Balotelli. If you are watching this video and you've not seen that one, pause this one and go back. There are no spoilers, but still, it's a good video, and I think you should watch it before coming here. Anyway, today I'm here. I'm joined with Seth and Clarence, and today we'll be discussing club football. Club football is back, baby, and I know everybody's excited because we know say Ghana in the World Cup. Anyway, Eva. Anyway,
Yeah,
anyway, today we'll be discussing transfers that have occurred throughout the transfer window. We'll be looking at some of the biggest clubs and the clubs with the highest expectations coming into this season, and we'll be discussing whether the transfers have been good enough, whether they still need more, whether they still need to do more, or whether they have missed at all. Because some teams have barely made any transfers, and we'll get into it later. So before we start, I want to ask how my fellow pundits are doing, Seth and Clarence. Let me start with Seth. Hi, how are you feeling, especially after the World Cup? We haven't done this in a while. How are you feeling about? How are you feeling in general?
I'm feeling good. The World Cup, I would have preferred Argentina to have won, but Spain won. I can't complain about that one either because I can see my players have World Cup. Certain
Me
clubs,
all right.
currently, their teams have World Cup winners in them. So, yeah. How about you,
Yeah,
Clarence?
Clarence, how about you?
bro, I've been feeling good. Well, I can't really say good because we've not done this sport in a while. And Charlie, just glad football is back. Well, club football is back, and we get to do this again. So yeah, let's get this going.
Now that we are done with the introduction and formalities, let's start with Arsenal. And coming off of last season, how well they did. They won they won the Premier League. They got to the final of the Champions League. They got deep into the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. This season, it feels like they are building off the momentum that it had from last season. They've signed Bruno G from Newcastle. They've also brought in Christian, however you pronounce his last name, Solis from Club Brugge.
Yeah, Solis.
Solis Town. Okay. And Hinkapi was there last season. He's now signed, transferred in permanently. Then Melie. So far, the other transfer doesn't seem that significant. He doesn't look like someone who play. Let's take a look at these transfers. How do you feel, first of all, about Bruno G? He's the biggest transfer they've done this season. And let's not forget they were linked with Vinicius Jr. But since that didn't work out, let's talk about Bruno Guimarães. How do you see that signing? Set,
So, for
first of
me,
all.
personally, I feel like that signing, I don't know, I feel like it wasn't necessary. Because I feel like one place Arsenal didn't really need strengthening was the midfield. Because they already have good midfielders with the Guimarães, Mendy, Eze as a 10. I didn't really feel like where they needed to focus more was on the midfield. I thought they needed a left winger, like Bonify world class left winger to help ease the burden on Saka because still Arsenal look like they are going to have a situation of where everything goes down the right. And with the sale of Trossard, to me, I feel like the attack it's a bit weakened. But who knows, maybe Christian Solis might end up performing and they might not necessarily end up leading a world class left winger. But for me, I still feel like they needed to upgrade on the left wing because their attack is still a bit mid. Nobody really say Arsenal won the league based on the number of goals they scored. It was more about the lack of goals they conceded, which their defense also being good. And I feel like in those two positions, they didn't really need much to be added to it. But for me, the attacker, I still feel like an upgrade in those positions were needed. But it doesn't look like at this particular moment they'll still add anything to it. So for me, for us to grade their transfer, I would say it's a D. I still feel like if they get somebody who will ease the burden of Saka, so that when things are not going well, the attack can be a bit dynamic rather than relying on set pieces to seal them every single time. That would make them better. Also, I think it will also help them in the Champions League because they'll be a bit unpredictable. Martinelli, ever since he scored 15 goals in the first time they challenged for the title, he has never been able to reach those heights. So I still like if they don't do anything with the remaining 2 weeks on the window, the attack for me still leaves much to be desired.
Okay. Like you said a lot. We've gone into it, but before we have any more discussions, Clarence, what do you think about Arsenal's transfer window and their big signing, Bruno Guimarães?
Well, all I can say about Arsenal's uh, signings, I think it's been okay. If we're looking at this year alone, they're obviously coming off of winning the Premier League. So and then they've already had like some of their starting 11 players feature in the World Cup and reach like deep into the World Cup. So of course some of them will be tired. So in a way, having reinforcements or having enough squad depth, looking at the amount of competitions they're still going to be in is very very key. So adding Bruno Guimaraes is, I think, it's a good signing because we saw what happened with Declan Rice. Sometimes he got injured and sometimes he had to be rested, and then it looked like their midfield too was a bit weak. I think Bruno Guimaraes gives them more depth, so it helps their team to relax a bit more. Yeah, but on the attacking side is where we have issues. No backup striker signing and no winger signing as well for Saka. I think the attack is going to be as poor as what we saw from last season. So I think overall their signings is, I think I'd give it like a B. Yeah. Solis is good. Solis is good. He can play both wings, but I still think it's not enough.
Okay. Okay, we've heard from both of you. I feel like my opinion is like a mix of both of yours. Um, I agree with what Seta said that they definitely should have prioritized signing a left winger before everything. But to be fair, Mikel Arteta seems to know what he's doing, and he has signed Bruno G. And I agree with Clarence also in the sense that the midfield, Declan Rice got tired, and Bruno G is a player who can play multiple midfield positions. And also, if you look at Mendy last season, when they signed him earlier in the season, he struggled to get into the team. Then he got a bit of form. I would say he started playing out of this world, but like he was solid. Then later in the season, he dipped again. So if you get someone who is experienced in Premier League football, that's Bruno G, who can also play multiple positions. He can play as a six, also as an eight. Think of the leadership that he brings in. I feel like it's not a bad signing to have. Also weakening one of your Premier League. I wouldn't say direct rivals, but like Newcastle is a good team in the Premier League, and if you can weaken them too, it's not a bad idea. What do you think about the price? I think it was about 70 million euros. It doesn't seem like a fair price considering the markets right now. So
Yeah, 70 million. I think actually I'm surprised Newcastle didn't hold out for 100. The way they managed to get Tottenham to cough out that huge amount for Sandro Tonali, I thought they would have done the same for Bruno Guimaraes. But so for
yeah,
the now, I think Arsenal can. That is a still, and considering the way everybody just seems to go for 100 million, like they decided that today, if not if not dribble past the players, it costs 100 million. I think with that price, nobody can really complain about it. It seems like
yeah.
a coup.
Oh, Clarence, what do you think about the price? 70 million. Is it fair?
Yeah, I think looking at Bruno Guimaraes, I think looking at his career, his performance last season, and and other seasons, I think it's a fair enough price. But I still think it's not really a true evaluation of his real market value. I still value him around like an 80 million midfielder, like high like 80 million, 80 million, 85 million will be the best market value for him because it's good. And in my opinion, he's better than Tonali. And paying 100 million for Tonali was absolutely wild by Tottenham. But yeah, Bruno Guimaraes, 70 million, fair enough price. But then again, we all know it was Arsenal. United going for him, they were asking for 85 million. So we don't know what happened.
You can't
But
end
yeah,
the conversation with United.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying.
Let's move to the second, which was Manchester City. Manchester City have brought in Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest. They've also signed Jeremy Manga from Leicester City and Geronimo Rulli from Marseille. They are also looking at signing this midfielder, this Moroccan midfielder, Boadi. Yes, they're also looking at signing Boadi. Let's also consider their transfers as they've sold James Trafford to Leeds. They released um, Bernardo Silva. He's now at Real Madrid. They've released John Stones. They've transferred out Nathan Ake. They've sent Calvin Phillips on loan. They've done a lot of transfer business. And to be
They are
honest,
about to sell already to Barcelona, which is the most important.
it hasn't been finalized yet, but yeah, we can consider that. And if you go to Barcelona, I'm looking at Madrid. Madrid are a very unserious club in this life. So first of all, let's talk about Manchester City's biggest signing. Like they paid a lot of money for Elliot Anderson, and there's been a lot of debate about whether that price is fair. This one, I'll start with Clarence since we started with said the last time. Clarence, what do you think about Elliot Anderson to Manchester City?
Huge bombarding signing. I'm not going to lie. Now, if you ask me, is Anderson worth that 100 million price tag? I can't tell you yes, and I can't tell you no. What is my valuation for him? 80 million. 80 million. 100 million. I think it was too much. And
Yeah.
City went and gave in, and they were like, nah, we need him. But to be fair, he kind of sort of fits that price tag if you look at his performances from last season and the World Cup. I mean, he's actually a serious ball player. He controls the midfield. He actually brings a little bit of calm in that midfield. So I think spending that amount of money and saying, okay, we really trust this guy to fit into our midfield and into the system, I think it's a good investment for that kind of player.
And also, Seth, what do you think about the signing, Elliot Anderson?
At this point, I feel like market valuation doesn't really matter because it's a free market. The clubs end up determining who come at the player because a player can be worth 1 million and somehow they will value him at 30 million. So I feel like market valuation doesn't really matter. But what I'll say is, I think maybe part of why they went extremely hard on him was maybe they knew Rodri also be leaving because that's how I'm sure those who went hard because they didn't really expect Rodri to be staying and since wanted to return to Spain. But then I think I'm aware the way the market is going and it looks like anybody, especially if the person is English, no matter his price his price astronomically goes to over 100 million. So I'm not surprised about the price necessarily because it seems that now defensive midfielders have become the range these days and everyone seems to go for them. But with that said, I feel like it's a good signing for them. And if they add Buhari, even better.
Yeah. Okay. So now I want to say come back to your point, but to be fair to England or to be fair to English players, Chelsea also bought Enzo Fernandez for about 100 million. So and he's not English, but to be fair, he's also Chelsea. So you can't really read too much into that.
Chelsea, you can sell, I can go to the owners of Chelsea and tell them I'll sell them the ocean, they'll still buy it. So it's Chelsea, you can scan anything for
Anyway,
them.
my opinion on Elliot Anderson, the price tag is too much, honestly. Honest to God. Like players should not be at that price all of a sudden. I think they are paying based on potential rather than his current ability right now. Because otherwise, Bruno G should also be around that same price. And I don't think Elliot Anderson is better than Bruno G. Maybe he had a better season last season, but I don't think he's better than Bruno G because Elliot Anderson came onto the scene last 2 seasons. To be fair to him, he has had 2 good seasons in the Premier League so far. But that price, it just seems a little bit overpriced, to be honest. But that's the markets right now, and we can't really argue with it. We just have to see how he performs. And he's a good player. He's someone who wins the ball, but he's a very combative, very defensive midfielder. Someone who has high energy in the midfield. So I don't know whether he can replace what Rodri did for Manchester City, but we'll see. To be fair, it's not a bad signing for them to make. Now, before we move on from Man City, apart from all the transfers they've done, they've also done a transfer of managers. Pep Guardiola has stepped down, and
Enzo
Enzo
Maresca.
Maresca has been given the job. Firstly, what do you think about Enzo Maresca? Then What do you think about Manchester City giving him the job? Do you think he can handle it, or do you think Manchester City should have looked, I don't know, into the market and try to get someone like Enrique for the job? Seth.
So personally, Enzo Maresca, I feel like he's a good manager. He's a good man. We saw what we did with Chelsea when he helped them win the Club World Cup and also the Conference League. But I feel part of why they gave it to him because he's similar to Pep Guardiola, and with the structure already in place in Man City, they didn't want a situation where they just completely shift and do a 180, where which would end up creating a whole lot of issues because they already have something that is working. So rather than trying to start something completely new, which may have a higher potential of failing, you go with somebody that already knows the club, will be similar to what you previously had, and it will be easier to maybe replicate the success because the players would have most of the system might slightly be different, but the core concept will still be the same. So I think that's why maybe went to Enzo Maresca. Because if they had gone maybe say Luis Enrique would have demanded to be treated like Pep Guardiola, to be the boss. And I'm not sure Man City were willing to go that route. And I don't think Luis Enrique himself is really keen on leaving Liverpool, PSG anytime soon.
So Clarence, what do you think about Enzo Maresca in Manchester City?
Well, I think going for going for Enzo Maresca was a good one by Man City because right now the coaching market is like is like really low in terms of like now in the player aspects. Let's say looking for pure number nine strikers because they right now there aren't that many good managers anymore. We have to go for young potential managers as we've seen like over the years. And I think going for Maresca, somebody who also knows the Man City team very, very well. He knows the club. He knows how they want to, he knows how they want to build, how they want to move forward. I think it was a good one, and the board did make a good decision on that one, like bringing him back to the club to lead the team.
Okay, so that's basically it for Man City. Me, what I think about Enzo Maresca, I feel like Manchester City could have done better. There were other managers in the market, such as Ten Hag. Getting Ten Hag into Manchester again would have probably pissed off a lot of Manchester United fans, considering he won 2 trophies for Manchester United. I think Manchester City could have done well to get Ten Hag into the club. He's also bought like Pep. He has also worked with Pep. I think Ten Hag would have done a good job for them, but they've made their decision and gone to London to pick out Enzo Maresca. Unfortunately, we'll have to see
I
what
see,
Enzo
I
Maresca does
see,
for them.
I see you. I see you. I see what you are getting at, but let's move on.
Let's move on to obviously the best team in England. Sorry, the best team in the world. Unfortunately, we managed to finish third last season in the Premier League, but hopefully we do better.
If
A team with the most haters, as they say, hated, adored, but never ignored. The team that I support. The team with the best player in the world, Bruno Fernandes. Oh Lord, I can sing Manchester United praises
wait,
forever.
serious question. Did Bruno Fernandes play the World Cup?
Anyway, let's
Hmm.
let's talk about the
Hmm.
Manchester United signings. So as I was saying, Manchester United, I'll take the lead on this one obviously because it's my team. Manchester United have signed Yuri Tillemans. We've signed Andre Santos from Chelsea, and we've also signed Sinan Thompson from the Spurs Academy, but apparently he'll be in the Manchester United first team. We've also signed Cardalo, but most of you wouldn't know who he is. So let's talk about Manchester United's biggest signing this season, which is Yuri Tillemans. I feel personal opinion, I think Manchester United have done a very good job in signing a player like that. Considering how the price midfielders are going for nowadays, getting Yuri Tillemans into Manchester United for a little over 30 million is a bargain. Even though he's 29 years old, I still feel like he's a good player who has a lot to offer. He has been doing very well over since he was at Leicester
Leicester.
City. Yeah, going to Aston Villa. He has been a solid, even above solid, he has been a very good player for Aston Villa. And I think getting him into Manchester United to fit into that midfield role is a very intelligent signing for Manchester United. Now, Andre Santos. Andre Santos is a bit of a risk getting him out of Chelsea. United, I don't know, we like doing our shopping in London, the blue side of London. And we've gone to take another Chelsea boy, Andre Santos. even though he wasn't getting much game time at Chelsea, coming into Manchester United, the hope is that he's not going to replace Casemiro, because we definitely need another player, uh, a player with, how do I say it, more reputation, a player with more experience in that role. But so far, he's the player that would be playing that role for Manchester United, the six. He's a bit of a step up in build up compared to Casemiro, but we still need someone better. Manchester United need to sign a left back. We need to before Rashford came back into the club. I don't know what we are doing with Rashford. We shouldn't have let him come back, but that's a story for another day. Hopefully, he comes back and does well. We need a backup striker because Zexi is probably leaving. We need defenders. Charlie, we need everything. If I wasn't confident about Carrick being appointed as the first team coach permanently, but fingers crossed. Hopefully, he does something good for the club. Hopefully, yeah, Charlie. I'm actually not happy with how Manchester United are going right now. And to
Loki,
West Ham, we just finished a
Loki,
preseason
like
game against this.
Loki, what you are saying, 80% is based on hope. You are hoping, you are hoping. Your
Even
club is
is
acting like your club is acting like a stingy boy who wants the top girl. You don't want to spend your money, but you want to achieve great things. Like,
Ibo,
people,
Ibo,
like seriously, I don't know what your owners are doing. If this is what you people do, then the Sikari could go and flop. Then go and panic. You bring another manager. You spend stupidly with the player the manager want. The manager will do what you finish top four, then relax. That's the cycle could do. Instead of you guys to move aggressive in the market so that you get the players you need, give the man the thing, let him do the job. We are doing skirmishes. Actually, Man United,
you,
not the
you've
plenty afford.
explained it. You've almost explained it perfectly, because like it doesn't make any sense. How do you bring Carrick in and you have signed him as your permanent man, and you've signed only two like correct first team players. Even the Andre Santos one, you can argue that is not all that correct because he has barely played for Chelsea. But yeah, you brought him in and you are not supporting. It's like they've been bent in the past by signing players for big fees and them not delivering. So now they are being overly, what's the word, Sam? They are being
They are
overly
being cautious.
cautious. Exactly, the word is cautious. They are being overly cautious, and they are not investing at all. And they want to buy players that the cheapest. See the prices midfielders are going for nowadays, and we signed two
Yeah.
midfielders for the combined fee of about 80 million, and that was the price of even more than the price of one midfielder. Come on, like I feel like we could do so much better in the transfer
If
window.
if
Relax,
if
Clarence, relax. So, like, finally, before starting this meeting or this video, we lost to Ruben Amorim, AC Milan 4-2, bro. I didn't want them to sack Amorim. I'm not going to say I told you so or anything, but let me calm down. Clarence, you talk about Manchester United. I feel vexed like this.
United are back to disappointing ways once again, as we all know. Are the management going to drown this club and give this fan base PTSD? Yes, yes they are, and they are already showing signs of it. With what Ferdinand was saying, them being overly cautious with signings, he's right, because they spent 80 million on Anthony and Anthony flopped in just 3 years under Ten Hag.
Anthony flop
That's
for the
the reason
United
why
feeling
going
because
in
he has been
going
doing
in
well
for
at
a
what he
winger.
teach. So, Clarence, in my opinion, you guys failed him. He didn't flop. United failed Anthony. Anthony has been thriving in Betis, but he continue.
That's why going in. That's why going in for a winger is their problem, because look at, for example, they missed out on this Ajax winger, Mika Goetz, who PSG just recently signed for 55 million. And if you go and check his stats from last season, this guy averaged a 30 GA. That's a 30 goal contribution, 30 goals and assists from last season. And he's actually a very, very good dribbler and a goal scorer, a good finisher. And he creates lots of chances. That's who we are talking about. And let me mind you, he plays both sides. He's actually a left winger, but he likes to play as an inside forward sometimes, and he can also play as a right winger. But hey, United said no, they're not going to sign any winger again. Look at the midfield. They've still not been able to find anyone to replace Casemiro. They said they were not going to spend 80 million or 100 million on Mateus Fernandez, so they lost that one to Tottenham. Lost said they were never going to pay 100 million for Tonali with the price Newcastle were asking for. They said no. Even with that, still they were still capable midfielders in the markets they could have gone for. They could have gone to league, French League One or the Bundesliga. They would have still gotten good midfielders, but they opted out to. I mean, one midfielder could have gone to sign even for free was Julian Brandt, but they didn't want to sign him. That's one they could have gotten a big steal. They said no.
And
Like they are not
was
even
big
thinking.
pay, bro. We know they need brands. Come on for the brands in time pass.
No problem, no problem. You will learn. Don't worry, you will learn in the Champions League. Now, in defense, that defense is going to be one of the worst defense in for a big top four club chasing the Premier League title. And I
Wait,
promise
wait,
you
wait.
it will come to haunt them.
I have
No
a
left
question.
back.
Clarence, I have a question. So, in
Yeah.
case you guys play Real Madrid, Harry Maguire is going to play against Mbappe.
In case in case what?
Maguire. Harry Maguire.
In case
Forget the
what?
pay. If,
If you guys play against Real
even if you
Madrid,
concede
Harry
against
Maguire will
Real
play against
Madrid
Mbappe.
and Manchester United get the corner and
Charlie,
Harry Maguire is
they lose. They lose
is
6-0.
stopping Harry Maguire from heading that ball, who is we
They
need
lose, they lose 6-0. Because let's be real. That
eh
defense,
eh, whenever
hey,
they
calm down,
no but
hey, calm down,
what
calm down,
six
calm down,
or
calm
six will
down.
be away.
Bosu,
I will
calm
not
down.
sound like
See,
ah
United could have gone to sign a Lacroix from Crystal Palace. Didn't sign him. You could have gone for Munoz. You are sleeping, and Munoz. Next thing you know, Munoz is signing for Chelsea or for Arsenal. You are there. You will not focus. They are literally talents in the Premier League. You don't even want to spend money on. That's how bad United are in these days in transfer business. And it's bad because even though they are still in a worst position and they are coming off of a good performance from last season, the club still has a name. Players will still want to play for Man United. They just need to push and send the project and say we want this player because this is how we are moving and we are definitely trying to win a trophy before the club's 100 and something anniversary. But they're not doing that. Instead, you're allowing your rivals to sign players that could play for your team. And that's how bad it is. I like to be very, very, very honest. That's how bad it is. I could go on and on about players they could be signing right now, and it's still not be enough. Even the goalkeeper position, Zion Suzuki from Parma is a goalkeeper that they can sign to challenge Lamens. They're not doing anything about it. We can go on and on. Defensive midfielders, like there are so many. So and they were going to go for who? Charmani and Kamavinga. First of all, going for Kamavinga would be bad investment. He's injury prone, even at his age. Charmani has dipped in form. So going for him again to let him come into the United system, I don't think it will favor Kobe Menu as well. And also the Premier League standard.
yeah,
I'm
but
just saying.
Clarence, one player that they were looking at that they should have gone for. In fact, he's still there. Manu Kone at AS Roma. We are not going for him because we are sitting back hoping that not necessarily a better player, someone like Chouameni will be have become available. I don't know what type of hesitation
That
is
is
that. Find someone, and he's not even expensive. He's on the cheap side, like they are hoping for, and I don't know what they are waiting for. I don't know their reasoning. I don't know their thinking. Sign somebody in that number six position so that we are going into the season with something before the transfer window closes. Like the Premier League is starting next week. It be like it's not clocking to them. They're not thinking, bro.
yeah.
Charlie,
I think
bro, let's wrap
it's
up
not
Manchester
just
United.
I mean
The event.
So that
it's
why
not
you
just
making
Kone,
conclusions now.
it's not
You
just
just
Kone.
let's
Turam too could be available, but no, but hey, that's my United for you. I mean,
Kone, a French
they say
national in the semi-finals and think, Charlie, make we move on. Let's move on to the number four in the Premier League, which is Aston Villa. We can be brief about this because they haven't made a lot of signings, but the one
already
signing it's not even a signing, or a loan signing. It is Alejandro Garnacho. That guy is getting passed around like a blunt. He's now
horrendous hor- horrendous signing. Horrendous signing.
bro.
But you
Yeah,
guys used to worship him like the second coming of Jesus Christ. I remember when you used to do Ronaldo celebration like this, then everybody goes Ganacho. But why you guys that left him?
that bicycle
Yeah,
kick only
because he's the
increased
main
the
man.
hype. See, and apart from Alejandro Garnacho, they've signed Joao Gomez from Wolves, relegated Wolves,
Look at that.
and also
A midfielder United could have gone for. Anyways,
hmm, and also Johan Manzambi from Freiburg. They've also sold Morgan Rogers. They've sold Yuri Tillemans. They've sold Lucas Digne to Paris Saint Germain. They hmm,
yeah,
we all know their coach is capable of, and we know he's good at developing players. But I feel like the players they've also lost to is
Yeah,
quite
they've lost.
concerning. They've lost,
Yeah,
yeah,
they've lost
Tillemans
it.
and Pina. They are significant players for them last season. What do you think about how they are going into this season, considering the players they've lost and the players they've replaced them with?
I feel like they are a bit weakened. I feel like they are a bit weakened. But then again, Unai Emery has his way of working his magic. Like people forget this, but last season they started the season without scoring a goal. I think it was for the first five or so games, they're not even scoring a goal.
Yeah, I remember.
So So you never know what can happen as the season goes on. But honestly, I feel like they are a bit weakened. And before we started, I saw that they were linked to Suzuki. As it looked like his deal with PSG is collapsing. So Aston Villa, I saw that they're in contact with his agent. So let's see if maybe Emi Martinez is about to move on and maybe they sign him in place.
Okay, so Clarence, what do you think about Aston Villa going into this season?
I think losing Tillemans, Rogers, and Lucadinha is going to be really, really, really bad for them because you losing, especially losing two playmakers, is very, very bad in your midfield.
Yeah, you see
Rogers,
that
who is
also a playmaker from the wing back.
yeah,
Anyway,
Rogers, who can play as a 10 and can obviously drift wide and play on the right is a very, very big loss. Tillemans playing as an 8 and can sometimes switch to playing as a 6 when the coach needs him to. A deep line playmaker. I mean, that's also a big blow for them. But we know Emery. He can develop some players and out of nowhere create a different system to fit certain new players to change how the squad plays like overall. So I think we will not be getting to see the best of Aston Villa as we did like when they were in the Champions League, playing top football, like when they almost gave the likes of PSG and co scares. So I think we just have to wait and see. Even the UEFA Super Cup was entertaining with even the players they lost. So like I think we will still see more of them, but not as we used to previously.
my main concern for Aston Villa was the players they've sold them to rivals.
Yeah,
Not direct rivals, but you get what I mean. The teams that will be
yeah,
It's
competing in
getting ahead of us. I mean, they finished ahead of Chelsea and they finished
yeah,
behind place behind United. So you can call them the head rival.
yeah. So I don't know whether it was the smartest of decisions for them, and also inheriting a player who is notorious for the problems he brings to the club with Garnacho. I don't know. I don't know. Let's.
Remember once your golden goose. So, like this,
He just got toxic. Anyway, let's see what Unai Emery will do for Aston Villa next season. Then from Aston Villa, we are moving to a team that apparently had a bad season last season, but finished only fifth, and they finished behind Aston Villa. That's Liverpool. Liverpool FC have signed. They've brought in Ronald Araujo from Barcelona on loan, though. They've signed Victor Munoz from Osasuna, Jeremy Jacquet from Stade Rennais, then Samuel Martinez from Atletico Nacional. They've also lost Mohamed Salah. Let's take that into consideration. Andy Robertson, Konate has gone to Real Madrid. What do you think about Liverpool's business so far this season, especially the players they've lost? Before I even mention, there's a Liverpool fan who was supposed to be here, Isaac. Isaac, I know you're watching at home. We they watch you. Your team no they do anything for the transfer window. We they watch you. Make you go can't hear them, can't they do arguments? The arguments will make me forget. Said, what do you think about Liverpool's business?
Well, I feel like it has been actually poor, honestly, because Considering the players they've lost, you would have thought they would have attacked the market aggressively so that the Iriola would have had the players he needs by now. But they keep dragging their feet. They have been linked with Bakola since May. We keep paying at their daily talk with PSG for Bakola. It's May, June. August is 2 weeks away from ending. No signs. There have not been any information about a bid being sent. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like Liverpool's window transfer window has been disappointing, but the only saving grace so far that they took Araujo. We found Peter on that game of Araujo. That one, I feel like it's a good signing. From a Barcelona, fan, I feel like it's a good signing. It's a good signing for them, but honestly, if you look at the players they've added and the players they've lost, it doesn't feel like they're in any good shape to go that far or to compete for the league title. Maybe their aspirations for this season is top four. I honestly feel like they need a ex-winger. Victor Munoz is a good player, but he's not necessarily come to start scoring 15 goals and 15 and provide 15 assists this season. And even Bakola that are linked, Bakola is flaky. There are sometimes when open goal, he's like the mini version of Dembele. Sometimes with open goals, you see he just misses it. So I don't know if that is the solution. It looks like that's what they are going for. So for me, they have been really disappointed with their summer business. But like I said, signing Araujo takes to an A. Like A for Araujo.
Okay, Clarence. Okay, since you're also a Barca fan, what do you think about Araujo to Liverpool?
First of all, let me start by saying Ronald Araujo is actually not a bad defender. Let me just say this. In Barcelona, he's actually playing a system where it doesn't favor him. But he still had to develop as a defender because he does have pace and a whole lot. So I get that part. But if you're looking at him playing in Liverpool with and pairing with Virgil van Dijk, someone who has experience, Ronald Araujo could actually improve as a defender, and it could be scary because he will learn a lot from Van Dijk when it comes to tracking back, man marking, playing certain defenders offside, sticking close to your man and actually winning balls, being an aerial threat. It will actually be very scary to see because those two standing at the back there are looking like twin towers. And Araujo is not going to be playing in a Liverpool team where they have to play a high line close to the center line, and then now be running back trying to uh, catch players. No, he'll be playing in a team where sort of relaxed under Iriola. The wingers obviously are the ones playing. The midfielders too can push the ball forward, so he won't have to worry too much about that. He will just do what an actual number two defender or a number four defender is supposed to do. That's how I see it. And he will actually improve being with Van Dijk. So it's not actually a bad signing by Liverpool. If anything, Iriola coaching Araujo could actually boost his confidence. That's the way I see it.
Okay. I hear what you're saying about gaining experience from Van Dijk, but Konate also played with Van Dijk, and Konate is like bipolar.
Nah, nah. Konate was shit. Let's be honest. Konate was shit.
But he has gone to Barca's rivals though. So
Oh,
and
and
he and they will gladly exploit that weakness because I've watched Konate and I've seen several times where I've realized he is not that much of a good defender. The World Cup even literally exposed him. Konate is not that of a great defender, and Real Madrid getting Konate is only going to make matters worse for them when they meet a team like Barcelona. They will be suffering. Imagine having to guard Yamal, Dani Olmo, Fermin, who again? I
Clarence,
mean, I mean, come on.
relax. I can't wait till we get to La Liga. But let's breeze through the remaining Premier League teams because the team that I'm coming to mention next is quite irrelevant, but we have to talk about them because it's formality. Let's talk about Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea finished. The way
Boo,
they finished with double digits.
boo,
Chelsea.
boo. We hate
Transfer
Chelsea.
free.
Boo.
Let's look at Chelsea's transfer window. They signed Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa for 117 million. Chelsea never delay, no. Always the overpriced players. We move on. They signed Pep
no,
Chavaria from Rayo
Bernard,
Vallecano.
before you continue, the owners of Chelsea, I have a cathedral to sell to you. In case you're interested, I have a cathedral to sell to you. It's completed. It's around rage. If you're interested, I have a cathedral.
It also seems like this year Chelsea prioritized experience. They brought in Jordan Henderson and Danny Welbeck. Those people are over 34. Anyway, they also signed Valentin Bracco from Strasbourg. They signed Maxence Lacroix, which I'll put my hand up. That's honestly a good signing from them. They signed him from Crystal Palace. They signed Quenda back. They signed him quite a while ago, but this season is the season that he's coming. And they also signed Marco Palestra from Atalanta. They've
Aren't they always signing players and they are not performing? Anyways.
mm, they sold Trevor Chalobah to Como. Alejandro Garnacho obviously a loan to Aston Villa. They sold Marco Correa to Real Madrid. Andre Santos obviously coming to Manchester United. And Tariq George, he's also going to Everton. So Clarence, how do you see Chelsea's transfer window this season?
Poor, rubbish,
Hey,
rubbish,
the
rubbish.
Saints are doing good business. What do you? I feel like
Listen,
yeah, it's a bit of
relax,
unfair.
relax. Let's talk about Chelsea Football Club, right? First
Yeah,
of all, look at Chelsea. The lap is going to Como. They still don't have a striker. Left winger, I don't even know for them. Pedro Neto is been linked to Man City. The team is looking in shambles. Man City also want Enzo Fernandez. So you have that one too. I honestly don't know why Palmer is still inside that project because honestly that team is looking like shit. They might get relegated by who knows 2030. That's another story for another time. In the back line, yes, they signed Lecroix from Crystal Palace. Okay, he's actually a very very good defender. Sure, no problem. The rest, come on. Okay, Morgan Rogers, good addition. But let's be serious here. All the other signings they made, players coming from their sister club, Strasbourg and whatnot, did they perform? Did they perform? Let's be real. Did they perform? But honestly, Chelsea, yes, they are doing business, but the owners are just trying to milk the team dry. They are gaining it for profit. I don't see them finishing in the top four or going to Europe again next season. To be honest with you,
even
that's my
even
opinion.
with Xabi Alonso as the coach.
Yes, even with Jabi Alonso as the coach, Chelsea might go through a rough patch like I don't know, like Aston Villa, where they
No,
didn't
that
qualify
is,
for Europe for a
that is,
long time until Emery came.
they hate you overdoing it. I feel like we are forgetting that almost half of the teams in the Premier League will be in Europe. 9 teams are playing Europe this season, so that will give Chelsea a chance for them to perform because they have only one game a week. They don't have to worry about playing Europe. While almost 9 teams will be like the likes of Bournemouth, Crystal Palace,
Hmm.
Sunderland. All these teams are playing Europe, which most of them have not done before. So it gives Chelsea a chance.
Yeah,
I expect Chelsea to finish in the top four or top five come the end of the season about to start.
yeah,
Yeah, I see what your point about it because considering Manchester United even finished 15th 2 seasons before and they
yeah,
finished third the season after with uh, slight tweaks in their system. I think
yeah. But
a coach like Xabi Alonso can get the best out of the players. And also let's consider this what's his name? Nicholas Jackson is back at Chelsea. And to
flop.
be fair, to be fair to him, in the preseason he has been playing quite well. If you've been
But he's
paying
still not
attention,
scoring. Is he scoring? Because
I mean,
literally, no, I mean literally what we are seeing in this generation, lack of natural number nine strikers is what in this generation we are missing here. And natural wingers. We are talking Messi Neymar type of wingers. We are talking Ryan Giggs, the those type of wingers. Ashley Cole them if we are talking Premier League players who could take wingers, defenders on wingers. I'm talking those kind of
I mean, all
Ribery
those players can
Robin
take defenders on.
wingers. Hold on. Let me land. I'm talking Ribery Robin type of wingers. I'm talking Mkhitaryan type of wingers. Heung-min Son type of
It looks like
wingers.
with the time,
This
like
market is
the first
missing
years
all
at
that.
United, there are some people who win a lot of trophies. So.
No, I mean, let's look at this from that standpoint. In fact, Chelsea, if they wanted a number nine, they could have gone for Brian Broby from Sunderland. They've not gone for him, and he too he's there. He actually plays as a pure number nine, similar to Thuram who plays in Inter. if I know I've seen his ball play, I know he's very, very good. He is very, very, very good. They also have a winger in Sunderland who is very, very good. Talbi played for Morocco. Deadly
Now,
winger.
I don't think you are
United, you are
seriously,
sleeping.
I don't have to laugh at Chelsea at this point.
Hey, United, you are sleeping. United, Ferdinand, look at me. You are there, you are sleeping. No problem. Keep bowing your head. We will see where you will finish this season.
I be
I
threat.
mean,
What is
I mean,
it?
so if you are telling me, if you are telling me that Chelsea, if you are telling me Chelsea can do what Man United did from where they were around ninth position to finishing third, I don't see it happening under Xabi Alonso in the blink of an eye. Next thing you know, Xabi Alonso is performing like Frank Lampard, newly promoted side coming from Championship. Okay, he got a job at Chelsea. Next thing you know, Chelsea is finishing 12th, and we will be here. We will be here because they don't have enough experienced players.
Okay. Said, okay, we've heard from Clarence. Me personally, I think Xabi Alonso will do a good job. What do you think about Xabi Alonso as the new Chelsea coach and all the signings they've made in and out
I
their
feel like
transfer window this season?
fine. They'll probably finish somewhere like four. They'll probably finish somewhere around four to ten because, like I said, many teams are playing Europe. Some of them they have not played in Europe before, and they have to play. They have to combine playing Europe and playing the league. So most of the teams, especially those that manage to finish in places that they haven't before, like the likes of Bournemouth, Sunderland, Crystal Palace, those having combined places like Europa League and Premier League, I feel like they will end up struggling. And we'll see at those so teams that are usually not in the league, for example, the likes of Newcastle, Chelsea, will end up finishing in those high places because they'll have less games and have more time to rest. So I'm not worried about Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea will be fine. Now I don't expect Chelsea to finish anywhere below sixth. I don't expect. I feel like they'll be fine. So honestly, I think I won't be surprised Chelsea finish fourth because a lot of the teams will be stretched, especially if they have progressed further in European Cup. A lot of teams will be stretched thin. And
Yeah.
we also forgetting that most of the teams they have changed their managers. Most of the teams they have changed their managers, so that also will also have an effect on the league.
Okay. Okay. So basically, that's it for Chelsea. I don't have much to say for Chelsea. Hopefully, we should
Because
end
no,
the
one
entire.
hour now. So the video is
Yeah.
59 minutes right now. If you want to do them there, we'll not finish today.
So moving on from one London club to another. From Chelsea, we are going to Tottenham. And Tottenham, considering they finished 17th last season, they've had a relatively good transfer window so far. They've signed Sandro Tonali from Newcastle, Mateus Fernandes from West Ham, Jean-Paul Van Heck from Brighton, Andy Robertson, an experienced signing from Liverpool, Marco Senesi, they've signed him from Bournemouth, Martin Dubravka also coming into the club, and players out. Christian Romero has been transferred to Atletico Madrid, Jed Spence to Internazionale or Inter Milan. Yves Bissouma has been released, and Dragusin has gone to Fiorentina. Solomon has gone to West Ham. They've done a lot of business basically. Um, how do you think they'll be going into this season, considering they finished 17th, and how do you think the transfers they've made will help either improve or basically what I'm trying to ask is are the transfers they've made good enough to help them get into the top 10, possibly top 6, the European slots, because that's where they'll be aiming for. Said,
If you are talking about Tottenham, they are frauds.
That's now for
That's me. They are frauds. That club deserves to go down to relegation. And I mean it. The teams who didn't take advantage of trying to make Tottenham go down to relegation, they will pay for it. Me personally, I had this huge banter. I wanted Tottenham to go to relegation because certain players didn't need to still stay at that club. I've had enough of Tottenham. They've been a nuisance to so many teams. Look at the players they signed. Van Heck, a obviously experienced defender. Man United again. You are sleeping. Who again did they sign? Uh, Andy Robertson. Okay, natural signing, but he's old. Okay. Then Mateus Fernandes and Sandro Tonali, overpriced midfielders. They still went for them. Tonali has betting allegations against him, and they still went and
no.
submitted
Now
over
we are just
100
looking at
million.
you're speaking as somebody whose club wanted a player but could not get them. That's why you're complaining.
Eh?
Yeah, just your
Serious?
club didn't. Yeah, that's your club fault. Your club didn't show ambition. It's not Tottenham fault. If your club they are so stingy in the transfer market. It's not Tottenham fault.
Oh, and what pisses me off is, besides the Europa League they won, they're never going to win anything too. They're never going to win anything. Look at what Van de Ven has done. He has gone to sign another five-year contract at the club at Tottenham. You want to spend the rest of your life at Tottenham FC? Tottenham. Van de Ven, who I was rating as a highly a top defender, and I was saying in the next few years he should just round out his contract, probably sign for Barcelona in the next 2-3 years, because Barca would obviously pay to have him at a lower fee, 65 million in the next few years. Even though he would have maybe a year left on his contract, or 70 million. He's a good defender, and he's quick. He has pace. Playing a high line in for flick system, he fits Barca's system very, very, very well.
You're not being objective. You are just talking because you wanted your club to sign the players and your club didn't sign them. So
No,
you are
no,
just
no, no. I'm saying
yeah.
it. I'm saying it because I dislike Tottenham. I dislike Tottenham, and the fact that certain players choose to go and play for Tottenham is bashing me. It's
It's not
bashing me.
Tottenham
It's
fault that
bashing me a lot.
you lost the Europa League final to them, and it's not Tottenham's fault that your owners are stingy and don't want to spend
No, it's
on
not. It's
players
not
that
just that. No, it's not just that. Imagine actually telling yourself, "I want to go and play for Tottenham FC." I mean,
yeah, because
screw that.
it's a football club. Clarence, this one you are just being a hater because
No, 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 no.
you are just being
Me,
a
I'm
hater.
being me. I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
You are being a hater.
I don't see them ever winning a Premier League title unless
No
they
problem.
go and perform some kind of miracle some way and then do what Leicester did back in 2016. I don't see it happening for them. Never. I don't see it. And the fact that some players will sit down there and decide to sign extended contracts. I mean, play for Tottenham, but to decide to sign extended contract for 5 more years, hey,
And
at Tottenham FC,
this one, I
it's
don't
like
agree with you at all.
it's
You're just being a hater because United are not a serious club.
no, it's like playing in Bundesliga, and you decide to sign for who? Is it? Let me say Wolfsburg or St. Pauli, and
Yeah,
5 more
because you want to
years.
stay there. Not the grass is not always greener outside town. They're saying the grass is not always greener outside. So yeah, is if they choose to stay there, it's their decision. It's not their fault. United are not a serious club, like I said. So
Yeah.
yeah, so let's round. So we are rounding up today's episode on Hurricane of Football. And good to be back. Football is back, and we can't wait to hear our thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and we'll catch you in the next one.